Hey, so welcome back. You have been working on your portrait illustration in Photoshop and hopefully following along with these tutorials and with my instructions right here. You should be at the point to where you've already gotten it all set up with your template and you have drawn out your black outlines. So that brings us to page 2, and I'm going to be walking you through how to add your base color. And then I'm also going to go ahead and jump into adding shadows and highlights. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Make sure you're following along with that. So here's where we are. Here's where we left off. We have your template on here, and we have a layer that's just titled Black Outlines ready to go. If I actually get rid of the visibility of the template, I notice that now I just see those black outlines. I like to look at it here a little bit before I completely commit to these and make any adjustments I need to make. Sometimes I don't realize when I'm working on the template that I've missed things. So this is a good opportunity for you first just to go back and edit on this however you need to. Then I'm ready for the next steps, which includes adding your base color. Now, it gets to be kind of tricky as we start adding all of these different colors, because as I look at the template, I notice I have different colored skin for my daughter and for me. I have different colored hair, I have different colored lips, I have different colored eyes. The eyes themselves have white, and then they have the color of the iris, and then they have black. Which I took care of in the black outline, but there's just so many different elements to this. And so if I were to do all of those base colors on the same layer, it would get really, really messy and very, very challenging to go back and make edits. And so instead, we have to be really methodical with this, and we have to be organized. And I've learned that the hard way, so take it from me. You want to make sure that you're always grouping your layers and creating individual layers for your different colors and different sections that you're painting in. So as my instructions say, number 8 says create a new folder for every major element of the image. So before we even start adding those base colors, we're first just going to look at this and we're going to try and plan for those major elements. So right here, looking at it, if I just kind of break it down, I know that skin is going to be a big part of it. Everyone's always going to have like a main skin layer or group whenever you're doing some kind of portrait. Hair is another thing. So unless you're bald, you're probably going to have some kind of hair. Facial features can be broken down however much you want. So I've done it before where I do like eyes as a folder and lips as a different folder. I've also done it where I do just facial features and then have those all listed in. So however far you want to go with those groupings, you can. And then like clothing and accessories can be another one. So to create groups, I'm going to go down here. Well, actually, tip, before you even do that, go to your template and lock it. If you haven't done that already, click the little spot right, and I believe I showed you this in the last video, but right up here to lock it, because I don't want to accidentally move that around or accidentally write on my template at all, okay? If you feel really confident with your black lines, you can also go ahead and lock that one as well. Okay, now let's jump in and let's create some folders for each of those main elements. So these are going to be groups. So if I come down here next to where the new layer is, it says create new group. I'm going to make one. A little tip to stay organized. Whenever I am creating the title for a main group or folder, I always do in all caps because I think it's much easier to just for my eyes to find which ones are folders. And then whenever I'm just creating a layer title, then I use lowercase and so just a little tip. So for this group, if I click on that word, I know, and I'm just going to kind of layer them up. So I know I'm going to need a facial feature. all caps, but I'm going to create a new one. I also, and I'm working kind of backwards, I know that I'm going to need skin. There we go. I know I'm going to need hair. There you go. I know I'm going to need like clothes, which also might include like accessories. So that would be the glasses for mine. Okay. So that wasn't supposed to be that. So those are kind of the main groups. I could go further with that, but I think that's a really good place for me to start. So as I'm starting to create layers, I'm going to make sure that I'm creating them in the appropriate folder, and I can keep those all together. All right. Next thing I want to do, if I move on, within each folder, you're going to create a new layer and paint those base colors for whatever that folder is. So for example, if I go into my hair folder and I open that up, which there's nothing in it right now, I'm going to go ahead and click new layer. I'm going to click on that layer, and I'm going to label this, because I have two people, I can do my hair. And I like to add base at the end of it just to be really specific, and then create another one that is going to be my daughter. So that's Emmy's hair base, okay? So then I go to my hair, I make sure I'm on that one. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start coloring that part in. So a little trick is you wanna find just like a main base color that you can then go back and add highlights and shadows and other elements to. But you wanna just go ahead and fill in each of these major elements and simplify them to just one base color first. You can either just go over here and click on your color picker and find whatever color you want, or what I like to do is just use my template and use my eyedropper, and I don't even mind that the opacity is down on that, and click on like the main part. So if I'm trying to do my hair right now, I click on my hair and notice that that shows me what that color is, and it pops up. So now I have that color down here, it's been picked. I'm gonna go to my brush tool, which is B. Make sure you're in just the brush. I was in the mixer one from something else I was doing. And now I edit my brush up top. And for this, I usually just use a hard round brush, and you can kind of play with the size, but you're just getting the main parts of this colored in. And so here we go. And I like to go ahead and keep track of the colors that I'm using. So another little trick is to come down near where the template is and create a layer called palette. That you can see just while you're working, but you'll get rid of whenever you're all done. And so I'm gonna go to that palette. I'm gonna go to my brush tool. I still have that color that I picked from my eyedropper tool. And I'm going to just do a little bit right there. And I know that that's going to be my hair, okay? So now I'm gonna go back to my hair base, and all I'm gonna do is I'm going to just color in my hair. I'm not even gonna like worry about the little edges. I'm not gonna worry about like trying to go around my glasses or anything, because I can just put my glasses on top. And so I do like to zoom in. And if I use 2 fingers, I should be able to like really move it around. And so all I'm doing is coming in here and kind of getting my main hair colored in. And then I move it over. Another thing I can do is I can actually move my black lines up to the very top. So it's all about the order. So now I can see a little bit better of what that's going to look like. I don't want it in my hair part. I wasn't using my mouse. There we go. Put that up here. There we go. So now when I color it in, oops, make sure I go back to my hair base. Then it's kind of like coloring in a coloring book. And I actually like to not worry about being super neat right here. And then what I'll do is I'll go back in with an eraser tool later, and I'll kind of pull that eraser down so it's a little bit smaller. And then I like to go in and just kind of like clean up. I think that works really well, rather than like trying to be super neat right now. And I think you can get like some nice variety of lines by doing it that way. If I wanted to, I could like erase around my glasses and things, but I don't really mind right now. And there is my main hair base. So now if I zoom out, and if I just get rid of my template, I should see that I've now colored in my main hair and make sure I didn't miss anything. Remember, you can always undo, Control-Alt-Z, and you can undo as much as you want. And then I also have this is on my palette. And so I have that color ready to go. So I'm gonna do that for all my main colors. I guess I would go ahead and probably just do it for my eyebrows too while I'm on here. And then this is why it's really important to have a stylist so that you can get some really good, nice lines. Zoom out. So now I'm gonna do that for Emmy's hair. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that so you can see it again. For Emmy's hair, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna pull my template back up. I'm going to find my eyedropper and get the color for her hair. Here we go. I'm then gonna go back to my brush tool. I'm gonna go to my palette just to be able to keep that color. And now I'm going to go back, and some of you guys might prefer just to paint without the template at all. I kind of like having the template on there, but that's up to you. But I'm gonna go to Emmy's hair base. I'm gonna zoom in. I can turn it if it makes it easier, and I'm gonna start coloring this in. Once again, I can kind of, I think that is my hair right in here. Might not be, it actually might be Emmy's hair. Not worrying about the glasses because the glasses are just gonna go on top. So you can see, once you get in the hang of this, it doesn't take super long to get all these different base colors on there, but it still does take a while, which mine, for my example here, I'm using 2 different people, which means I'm doing everything twice. So obviously mine's gonna take a little bit longer than if you're just choosing to do 1 person. But the nice thing about having these all on separate layers is that And I think her eyebrows actually might be a little bit darker, so I might end up going back and darkening those up, but I can do that with my shadows later. The nice thing about this is if I like get into my hair on accident and then I want to go back and edit it and erase it, as long as I'm in Emmy's hair base, because my hair base is separate from her hair base, when I go to erase, my hair is still there. Whereas if I had them in the same layer, if I were to erase, it would just erase it both. It would just make it all disappear. And so that's a smart and nice little move just by having these all separate. So those are little baby hairs. And some of the elements like down here, I can just erase so that I get a little more texture in there, not just my big bulky paintbrush that I used. I don't think I like that last line I just did. There we go. I feel like it'll make her look bald right there if I leave that. And some of these baby hairs. All right. So I'm doing this fairly quickly. You have most of the week to go through and just work on creating each of your individual bases for each element of this. So that's it for the hair. I'm just gonna do the exact same thing for everything. So for the skin, I'm just gonna go back and I wanna go ahead and show you one skin really fast, and maybe I'll do it on mine. So 2 fingers to be able to zoom in and out and move around. I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer under skin. And I'm gonna do one that is my skin base. And I'm going to do another one that is Emmy's skin base. Popping into mine, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the eyedropper and get like, I'm gonna make sure I'm not grabbing from the shadows. I'm grabbing from like just a very more medium tone from my face. And so I'm gonna grab that, go down to my palette, go to my brush and make a little sample of that one. And then make sure I'm back up in my skin base. So this takes a little practice. You might want to follow along with me a few times. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in my whole face, even anywhere that might have shadows. Just go ahead and fill it all in, because when you go to add shadows later, we can go back and darken that up. But we just want a basic skin base. And so I like to do like go around and do the outline, and then to save a little bit of time, I will pull my brush up quite a bit. And notice because these are layered, because my hair is layered above where my skin is, when I go to do these areas, so that actually goes pretty quickly. So I got in there, we go. So there is my main skin. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do that individually for like the white of my eye, individually for the iris, individually for my lips. Those are probably all my main skin bases. Under the clothing section, I'm gonna do my glasses, and then I'm going to do my shirts, okay? And I don't like that I have, like, I don't feel the need to do that sweatshirt that I'm wearing. I just want to do something a little simpler. And so I'll probably just do a plain color for my shirt and a plain color for Emmy's shirt as well. So I've got a little bit of work to keep going to get each of my bases on here. But once all of those are done, I should have a nice palette of different colors, and I should have a flat version of myself filled out. You have most of this week to work on this, so keep plugging along and get those base colors on there, because next week you're going to go back and you're going to add a bunch of shadows and details, and we're really going to spice these up. So good luck and have fun.